All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Happy December, and we're happy to be back.
Yeah, I hope you guys are having good holidays, man. I'm staying safe. Good to be
Yeah.
back.
Every week we come on now. We're happy to be back. We don't ever know when we're gonna get shut down again.
Right? Oh, the wondrous world of COVID.
But let's see. We thought we'd do something kind of fun because it's 75th anniversary of one of the world's greatest mysteries.
Flight 19, huh? Bermuda Triangle. Crazy mystery.
Yeah, December 5th, 1945.
Yep.
So well, I guess we're recording on Saturday. But really cool. I mean, it's definitely one of the more interesting disappearances in the triangle.
It is. When people have been digging and searching, there's been millions and millions and millions of dollars spent on it just trying to solve this, and still today, nothing.
Right. And many of the listeners probably have heard about it over the years. I think it's always been one you kind of grow up with. But,
yeah, that's if you haven't heard of it, you've been deep under the rock. That's for sure.
Yeah, but routine training mission, 5 pretty well, not super experienced pilot and trainees on a training mission out of.
Yeah, well, a few thousand hours on the captain and like 300 some hours on his trainees. Yeah, and it was a standard, I believe, 200 miles off the shore. Right. Go out,
do a run, come on back,
drop some bombs, yeah, spin it around and come home. But didn't turn out that way, did it?
No, and then they lost the planes after a certain amount of time. I think they got out quite a ways, about 6:00 or something. They ran out of fuel.
Yeah, they were out there for a long time and
arguing.
Yeah, arguing. Yes, I think some of the again, a rabbit hole you can go deep into if you really, really dig deep. I mean, I believe I heard that the captain, the pilot, the trainer, he tied one on the night before and requested to not do this mission and wanted the next guy to do it. And it was, it's military. You do what you're told. And the guy says, nah, you drink like a man, you go teach like a man, I guess. And don't know, again, we don't know if that had any bearing on that. I mean, claimed his compasses didn't work.
Yeah, they lost compass readings and navigation settings. And it's kind of interesting because now the pilots have an additional piece of equipment in their planes if they're flying through the triangle.
Yeah.
On like GPS off satellites and things like that, because they still get these weird anomalies as they're flying out through there.
I mean, but we're talking back in the day when, in the 40s.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff was pretty crude back then at best, I mean, it was made to fly, kill, and come back, Right. I mean, there was no creature comforts,
Oh, yeah, and they were charting by paper for sure, right? What the mission was and where they're going to go and then turn around. And
no computers, no nothing. You couldn't just whoop out a piece of paper and do your navigations. You had to do it on the fly, so to speak.
Yeah, so what's your theory on it? I mean, do you think that they got lost in a storm and they just got, discombobulated? I mean, you could easily probably lose your way out there, if a hurricane formed up or a storm. And did they even really know about the way storms formed back in the 40s?
There was really no Doppler or nothing like that to give you a heads up and storm fronts coming or anything culminating. Me personally, what I think is there's a ton of theory out there. And for my money, I'll take a pinch of each and put it all together and call it a perfect storm. And it's what made it go away. We can't find it.
Yeah.
And I think you said, things.
Well, you just got currents through there, that can pull it clear down into who knows where. You got so much stuff down in through there.
I know there's methane that bubbles up under there. There's freak storms. There's rogue waves. I mean, you name it, magnetic anomalies that they have proven. The granites and just the rocks down there. It's just, I want to say it's a little bit of everything. Maybe a little bit of hangover, maybe a little bit of methane, maybe a little bit of I would like to take a little piece because if you take each story, it kind of pans out, but there's just pieces missing in each one.
Yeah.
But I think if you take a pinch of all of it, you got your Flight 19 soup, and I think it just kind of comes together. That's me.
Yeah, so they headed out. I mean, they get lost, they lose. I mean, landing out on the ocean, 5 small planes, right, in a storm with massive waves, currents. They all tried to land together, I think. They disagreed with the leader, right, which way they were going to go. And that's the really weird thing about that. He was so bound determined that he was right on the direction.
Yeah, and I believe
when so many people were like, "Hey, we don't believe this is the correct turn."
Yeah, some of the trainees said, "Well, my compass is reading something different than yours," and I believe they had 2 compasses on the plane. At least his did.
Yeah.
He had a main and another one, and you can hear in some of his radio contact that he was confused as to which one was correct, because which one's right now? My main one should be right, but my second one says something else.
Right.
Which is it? And so maybe from a hangover and just too hard of a night before, it was probably just too much, you know?
Yeah, well, we were sailing out of Puerto Rico, and we kind of came, and we kind of walked kind of along the beach there, and I got some cool pics I'll put up, but the storm came up like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we were just off a bus tour, we were walking, and it just hit us almost immediately. So I know storms form really fast there because I've seen it.
Like they disappear about just as quick, right?
Exactly.
10 minutes later, it's sunshiny, and what happened?
Yeah, and I was teasing the captain, like which way we're going to go and go back through the triangle, or which way we're going. He's like, you don't go through the triangle this time of year. You just don't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting why they don't, they don't sail through there like they used to with the merchant ships and things.
Well, maritime, I know they got, don't sail on a Friday.
Insurance.
Yeah. Well, not insurance.
Maybe?
Insurance companies don't recognize the Bermuda Triangle at all.
Yeah.
They say, no, there's no bigger risk here than anywhere else.
Right.
Maritime is maritime. Flying is flying. They don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, well, I've never sailed through there. I've never flown through there, but if you guys have, we want to hear about it. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. If you've seen something
if you're one of those guys out there in shipping or a captain and you sail through the Bermuda Triangle, you've ever seen anything, or maybe you haven't. I don't know. It's interesting to know.
There's most definitely something going on out there. I mean, I've watched lots of documentaries and stuff where guys have gone out there with compasses, and you hit certain spots and they do spin. I've seen them do it in the air and on boats, and you get to a certain spot, a vortex or something, and your compass will just spin, and then go back to normal.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, so there was 14 in the 5 planes, I guess, that got lost, right? So you had a pilot navigator, I assume, and then or bomber, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they sent up another plane right behind them.
Yeah,
to look for him.
An amphibious plane, something that should have landed on the water.
Yeah.
Or that could have landed on the water.
A big Mariner, yeah.
With 13 people in it, which is a mystery to me, too. That's a kind of a lot of people in one plane. I'm assuming it's just for eyeballs.
Yeah. And, well, they said that plane, the search plane was, I don't know, it had a problem with gasoline and bilge leaks, and sometimes it would combust.
Yeah.
And I think that there was one ship in the area, the USS James May. They saw, I think, a fireball hit the water. And they went there, and there was an oil slick, but they never found anything.
But not even a piece of wreckage, nothing floating. No.
Which is weird, because if it exploded, it would have been all over everywhere. You would think.
If they were there that quick, you think they'd have found something more than an oil slick.
Yeah, unless the plane blew up and the oil gas area hit the water and everything else was just disintegrated and blew in the air, landed far away.
That's
in
a rough
storm,
one.
I don't know, man. I wasn't there.
The flotsam and jetsam, just because it was a seaplane, I mean, the life jackets on board, I'm sure they had them, and they'd have to float. I mean, did it all stay together and just all go down?
But if you blow up at 10,000 feet and the winds are blowing at 50 miles an hour and there's a big storm,
true.
Who knows what, metal falls flat, other stuff drifts. I don't know. They couldn't have been that high, though. What, 10,000 feet at max?
If they were searching for wreckage, they have to be
with
low.
Binoculars. I mean, I'm sure anybody out there watching that's flown over the ocean at 35,000 feet, you look down, you can't see anything.
And no radio contact from them. It just quit, right? Whoop.
Yeah, just quit.
Like, we're done.
So that's why some people think it exploded.
Yeah.
But which way did they turn? You said that they landed in the Keys, or you thought that they were over the Keys, or maybe somewhere else. What do you think?
It's hard to say, because nobody with their compasses out, we don't know if they went north, if they continued. I know for a while he thought he was still heading east, and then said, okay, let's turn around. And then he turned around and he says, well, now I'm over the Florida Keys, which puts him pert near 1,000 miles in the opposite direction. There was lots of confusion. I know they tried to triangulate the last calls that he put out, and they said that the signal was fading.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting weaker and weaker, and I think one of the last transmissions was our last 10 gallons of fuel.
Yep.
We all ditched together.
Right. Does everybody agree?
And did they? I know this is something they trained for. If they ditched, their plane should have sat and floated, and I know they had all the gear to still be there, or did they all just crash?
So many different theories.
A butt ton of theories. I mean, you can go rabbit holes. I mean, they're everywhere. I like to try and keep it a little more simple myself. And sometimes I think that's where you'll find the answer. You don't get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, that's probably true. But it was December. They hit the water, and I don't know. It's pretty warm in December down in the Caribbean. So
Yeah, they don't
it
get
wouldn't have
much.
been that bad.
They don't get a whole lot for seasons down there. I don't think it changes all that much.
Yeah, and they would have had some gear on. They wouldn't have needed too much there to survive. The water's pretty warm. And you definitely would need a sweatshirt, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Or all that flight gear. Speaking of sweatshirts, you got something cool on there.
Oh, yeah. You like this?
Yeah.
I love this. A little faux Bigfoot shirt. I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. You're nipping out there.
You like the ninnies? Like those?
They made it as real as they could get it, right? It's got the patty
and
breasts on it or something. I don't know.
I love it. Nobody likes this thing, but I love it. I'll wear it proud.
Yeah, and it's got kind of the white there. Does everything on the hood?
Yeah, it's kind of just more hair when you
Oh, it is?
throw it up.
Okay, yeah. I could see. Maybe a little mask in the middle would be kind of cool.
I don't know that I'd go out in the field with it or get myself shot.
It's got some cool hair lines on it, though, for sure.
I like it. Heck with you guys that don't. But I see what happened to your beanie. You got something, speaking of hair, you got something going on there too, Chuck.
I guess I do. Yeah, I'm starting to look more like myself. I've been COVID depressed in my cave. I've been like a dusty, hairy cave bat. I have been. Maybe a blind, dusty, hairy cave bat with COVID, man. I'm sure many people have struggled with it, just being in isolation, but it's been rough.
Well, all the new restrictions, haircuts are rough. I'll give you a pass. Come on.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I'm looking forward to the holidays. I mean, who doesn't like to get gifts? And speaking of gifts, we got something to give away.
We do. The T-shirts, my favorite part.
Yeah, so who do we got?
This week's winner is Chance Martin.
Oh, nice.
And congratulations on that shirt. And when you get it, send us a picture, man. We love to post those up. And to get that shirt, where's he got to go, Chuck?
Yeah, just over to SasquatchSyndicate.com or send an email to contact@SasquatchSyndicate.com and Mark, get your size up and get the shirt out to you guys.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Chance, for watching. Really appreciate it. Tell your friends. Like and subscribe. Don't forget, if you're watching the videos, that's the only way to win.
That's right.
Speaking of winning, though, the guy that finally solves this mystery, he's going to be pretty famous. Or gal.
All right.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of near misses, people that they found Avengers. They found...
Yeah, right. So they found they did find a series of 5 planes, I guess, and but they found out that was a different training flight that happened later or earlier, and the numbers didn't match the tail numbers.
And I think you mentioned when we were off there that maybe they had the numbers wrong to begin with.
Could have been. He was
on
drunk.
The flight.
Maybe, who knows how good of record keeping they kept them.
Yeah, I mean, something as simple. That's why, like I said, I like to keep it simple. Just could have been just something that simple.
Could have been. I mean, and think about, too, 5 planes, torpedo Avenger bombers, in kind of the same location.
And it was 200 miles out, circle back.
You were just out.
Too simple to go that wacky.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it was, a total of 120 miles, and they flew 200, or they think with the gas, they had 200 miles. I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
Personally, I think something went screwy right at the start, and I just my opinion, I think that's what everybody's missing. Yeah. The rest is all there, the communications, all the stuff. I think all of that is pretty correct. Mm-hmm. But I think just right at the beginning, right at the get-go is where something went wrong. Something went wrong, and I think they just starting the facts at the wrong spot.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah, but these guys, so the one guy, he discovers 5 planes, tails number don't match up. I think there was one where you couldn't even identify the other 4. And they looked at it and they said, no, that was a different training flight. So coincidental, though. And then there was another one where they found a torpedo bomber with some couple dead bodies in it or something. It just kind of disappeared. No one really knows what happens with that.
That was in a swamp, right?
Yeah. And then the other one was George Payanessa. He was one of the guys that disappeared, and somehow a telegram came back in for the family.
Yeah.
He said, I wasn't disappeared at all. You guys have been misinformed. So who knows? Was he part of a space program and black budget program, and they just took him off the face of the earth? Who knows?
I wasn't disappeared at all yet. Where are you?
Yeah. And that was kind of the conspiracy, right? Because in Close Encounters at the end, remember the guys, they board the ship and they leave, they sign up to go.
Yeah.
And they were former pilots. And at the beginning of the film, they had Flight 19 in there. They found the planes.
Yeah.
And then people kind of got into that alien theory, and maybe they were abducted, and, all kinds of theories spun out of that.
Until we find it, anything goes, really.
Yeah. But they just disappeared off the face of the earth, so.
They did.
That's definitely a theory out there. For the longest time, as a kid watching all that stuff, I was definitely thinking, well, maybe they got beamed up.
Still may be right.
But maybe that George Panessa, like I said, maybe they signed up to some black budget program. They
swept it up.
Yep. And then they, disappeared off the planet. Maybe they signed up for some weird program or
experimental bombing. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
They're doing a whole lot of stuff me and you'll never know about.
Yeah. They just disappeared. So I'd love to hear what other people are thinking out there too. So hit us up in the comments.
Yeah. Definitely give us your theories. I mean, I've got mine. Yeah. I think it was a lot simpler than it is. We've had a lot of years to really mix it up and make it bigger than I think it is. I think it's really simple. I think it's so simple that we're missing it.
Yeah, but neither one of us, at least my theory, I don't believe they ended up in the swamps at all.
No.
It was definitely a mistake not to land near land. They had, at one point, that was their calibration point. They saw land. They must have turned out to sea, in my opinion. They must have went out east or northeast.
That's what I'm thinking. They had multiple opportunities to ditch proper,
right?
I should say, and decided to keep going. I guess with the intent of getting back home.
Yeah, they would have had to definitely. I mean, they would have flown over some islands, and then they would have had to turn and get far enough away where land wasn't.
Yeah,
back in their radius to come back with gas.
And again, no GPS, and it's not like you could get together with your 6 guys and go over a map. You're all flying in your own planes. So
right.
All you had was just communication between each other. And back then, you did what your leader said. It was the military back then. You did what you were told, and you didn't. Right. I know the other guys tried to question. But he was the guy, and he just did what he said. It's just...
Yeah, definitely human error, for sure. He had no coordinates. He had vertigo, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were just out in the middle of nowhere, and he just made a mistake. He should have put down a land or an island or something like that, and they goofed up.
Yeah, straight up. That simple.
Yeah.
He kind of, for me, kind of right up there with the pyramids. Do we know how they built them exactly? No.
We weren't there.
But there they are.
Yeah, right.
Somebody did it.
Yeah. And so, who knows how this person, I don't know. I don't know where they went. They just flew off the face of the earth, basically. So, I mean, that's the story, right?
They got lost out there and ditched and end of story.
So, anyways, we definitely want to hear what you guys think. Thanks for joining us here on Sunday. We're happy to be back, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.